In solo leveling, after Hwang Dong-soo gets Lil Broed by Thomas Andre warning him to never touch a hair on Sung Jinwoo while he's in America, he starts pooping in his pants but complies with his request, leaving the room in absolute anger. The day of the conference arrives. As the representative of Germany, the Richter Guild touches down in the U.S. Leonard Nierman, the guild master, asked his vice master what all these reporters were so excited about. He responds saying that the Korean hunter everyone's been talking about is supposed to be arriving today. "Speak of the devil," the vice master said, spotting Drippy Woo in the crowd, which made Leonard ask if they should go say hi since there's nothing to lose from being acquainted with a strong hunter like him. But while taking a closer look at him, he noticed something terrifying, making him shake in his boots. Leonard asks his vice master if he really didn't see what he was seeing, making him confused since he really didn't see anything. He came to the realization that Drippy Woo didn't summon creatures from other dimensions, but rather were all around him at all times, stating that with those numbers, he could wage war against the entirety of the United States. Drippy Woo turns around, making Jinho ask if he saw someone he knew, but he responds saying it wasn't that, but there was a foreigner that kept looking at him strangely. Jinho said that with all the times he's been on the news lately, he must have a lot of fans, saying he must have wanted an autograph or something. Jinho turns to look at Jin Chul, asking him why he was here, making him choke by the sudden questions. He responded whispering that he's been assigned on the task of protecting Drippy Woo. Jinho looked him dead in the eye, asking if he could repeat that. Jin Chul nervously said, "Protecting Hunter Sung, protecting who?" Jinho asked, making Jin Chul look really depressed. Drippy Woo pointed out that it seemed like they were here to greet them. Adam White shows up saying that they've been waiting for him. Drip Woo is confused since he recalls him being in charge of the Bureau's branch in Asia. Adam responds laughing, saying that was the case until recently, but now he's in charge of matters regarding him instead. Adam explains that the people coming with him would be escorted to their rooms and asks Drippy Woo if he would mind coming with him, making him question if this was about his father. But Adam tries to explain that this wasn't something that would harm him, since he knows how highly the United States Hunter Bureau values him. Drippy Woo asked if he could tell him what it was about. Adam responds, saying it was a matter of top-secret classified information. On the way to the Hunter Bureau's headquarters, Adam explains that they're under serious pressure due to the sudden death of the national-level hunter Christopher Reed, who was considered to be a crucial pillar of America's combat power, meaning they're desperately trying to fill the void he left behind. Although things still remain calm on the surface due to the fact his death hasn't been publicized yet, they will soon start investing their resources into looking for a hunter who can replace him. "And I'm one of the candidates?" Drippy Woo responded, making him nod his head, confirming it. Adam pulls out a hologram explaining that the value of a rune stone is proportional to the power of the monster it was extracted from, stating that mankind's greatest calamity, the dragon Kamish, and the rune stone that was extracted from it, which is in their possession. The U.S. is looking for a new owner of that rune stone, asking Drippy Woo what he thought of this latest proposition. Jinwoo, surprised by the images, quickly tells Adam to flip back through the photos, which confused him, though he did as he's told, asking if he was talking about Kamish's corpse. Drippy Woo asks if the U.S. had been keeping Kamish's corpse stored intact, which he confirms nervously. Jinwoo suddenly asked where it was, telling him they should go there first, confusing Adam even further. But Drippy Woo says that he's given the Hunter's Bureau much of his time without complaints, so he's sure this isn't too much for him to ask. Adam White tries to explain that the extent of his knowledge only extends to what he's been permitted to know by the higher authorities, meaning he doesn't know the exact location to Kamish's corpse either. But if it were a request from Papa Woo himself, he doesn't think it would be too hard to get permission and asks him if he would mind waiting a minute. A few hours later at the Hunter Bureau headquarters, the director questioned if Drippy Woo was here right now and asked Adam White if he said anything at all about the rune stone. Adam responded, saying it was never brought up again throughout the entire day, making Mr. Brennan sigh since all he wanted to really see was the corpse. The director asked Adam White to leave, saying he needed to speak to the deputy director. A few seconds later, Mr. Brennan asked the deputy director what he thought his reasons were for wanting to see the corpse. He responded saying he wasn't sure, but he's certain he didn't want to see it just to see it like a tourist, and explains that hunters would normally spend millions of dollars in order to get a runestone, meaning it's synonymous to a hunter's strength, which is also equal to their lives, meaning that just seeing the corpse would be more valuable to him than gaining a skill. Mr. Brennan goes on to ask if his abilities were only related to monsters he's killed himself, making the deputy director finally realize something crucial, thinking to himself, just what if he can make monsters he didn't kill himself, and that died a long time ago, into his summons. After this realization, he informs the director, shouting that he plans on turning Kamish into his summon. Mr. Brennan suddenly gets up from his chair, shouting that if that's really the case, then he can't allow it, since no individual should be allowed to be that strong. The deputy director explains that if they refuse this request, then it would be difficult to maintain a relationship with Drippy Woo. Mr. Brennan sighs, thinking deeply about what to do in this situation. But since there's no other option, he says, "I'll take him there myself," stating that this could be a good opportunity to check out his ability. In the elevator on the way down, Mr. Brennan said that it would have been better to sit down and talk things through, but he knows this is what he'd prefer instead. Drippy Woo is surprised by the fact they actually built the Hunter Bureau headquarters right on top of the spot where Kamish was killed. On the way to the corpse, Diddy Woo notices that there was magic energy mixed into the air and was awed by the fact that mana could still remain even after 8 entire years, questioning how powerful it would be after turning it into a shadow soldier. Kamish's corpse can be seen in full view, towering over the tiny humans. Mr. Brennan explains that they've kept its corpse intact, just as it was after killing hundreds of elite hunters before being killed by the 5 remaining national-level hunters. He then goes on to say that the energy used by the Hunter Bureau headquarters is also supplied by Kamish's mana crystal. "Please stand back," Drippy Woo stated, walking forward towards Kamish's corpse. The deputy director asked if this was really okay. Mr. Brennan responded, saying it was all right since he already gave him his permission, stating that they should just sit back and watch and see what happens. Drippy Woo raises his hand towards the glass, saying the singular word, "erect." Shadow aura suddenly starts oozing out of the dragon's corpse, but unfortunately the system informs him that extraction had failed, and he only had 2 attempts remaining. Drippy Woo feared this would happen and closes his eyes, taking a deep breath, speaking the command once more. "Erect." Shadow mana fills the air enveloping the dragon's corpse as an enormous shadow starts emerging, eyes so terrifying it would make any normal man start shitting in their pants. The newly summoned creature opens its mouth, sending out an excruciating roar, which started destroying even the facility that was meant to contain it. The dragon opens its mouth once more, asking the person standing in front of him if he was the one who summoned him here, referring to him as the king of the dead, the Shadow Monarch. Both the director, David Brennan, and the deputy director are in absolute shock, terrified about what they see before them, asking, "What the hell is that?" The dragon notices the presence of the humans, reminding him of the absolute command he must follow, to kill every last one of them, shattering even the impenetrable glass that was holding him back. Mr. Brennan is shocked, refusing to believe how easy it was for the dragon to break the glass that was reinforced with a top ranker's mana. The glass shatters completely, and with nothing in the way, the dragon starts charging up his breath, shocking the agents of the Bureau, warning the director to evacuate. But since it is Kamish's breath, he responds saying, "Where the hell could they possibly escape to?" "Enough!" Drip Woo shouted, stopping the dragon in its tracks. He explains that the mana crystal embedded in his head had long been removed, saying that there is no longer reason for him to follow the commands of the rulers anymore. Adam White questions if Drippy Woo was really speaking in the monster's language, making the deputy director say that even though he's standing right there seeing it with his own 2 eyes, he couldn't understand a single word. The dragon asked himself if this was really how it felt to become a subject of the Shadow Monarch, closing his eyes and kneeling before him, saying that as a humble servant who once served the king of the dragons, "I greet you, my new king." Jinwoo asked him if he really served the King of the Dragons. He responds saying he indeed served the one called the King of the Mad Dragons, the Monarch of Destruction. Jinwoo is surprised by the immense rage the dragon was emitting, shocked by the fact a shadow soldier could possess such a strong, independent ego, saying it surpassed any monster he's encountered so far, and that there's no doubt he was an incredible being. Adam is utterly shocked, saying to his superior that it was wagging its tail, making them look completely dumbfounded. Hearing the dragon mention that he used to serve the Monarch of Destruction, that must mean he's also another one of the 9 monarchs the system showed him, including the King of the Dead, the Shadow Monarch, and the King of the Giants, the Monarch of the Beginning. Kamish's body suddenly starts disintegrating and informs Jinwoo that regrettably he must bid him farewell, saying that it appeared their meeting came about too late. Quickly, Jinwoo starts shouting to the system, questioning if not even the power of the Shadow Monarch could overcome the passing of 8 years' time. As the dragon's body starts dissipating even further, he says how he envied his soldiers who could serve him for all eternity, and warns him that there were 4 humans who had borrowed the power of the rulers, and tells him to be wary of them. Though our time together was brief, it was an honor to meet you, my king, Kamish stated with his last words, disappearing completely with the system stating that the extraction had failed. The last remains of the dragon left Jinwoo's fingers as the system stated how the target's shadow had returned to the emptiness of the void and that too much time had passed since the target's death, meaning further extraction would be meaningless. Jinwoo tells Adam White to tell the director that he's deeply sorry and that he would cover the expenses for the damages, leaving the scene in disappointment. A loud bang could be heard by both the director and Adam White, since Jinwoo had destroyed the wall in anger, frustrated by his own incompetence. Back in the hotel provided by the Hunter Bureau, Jinchul appears telling Jinwoo that they couldn't get a hold of him. He responds, saying that he was in a place where no calls could get through temporarily. He asked him if he met up with Jinho there, but Jinwoo had no idea what he was talking about. Jinchul clarifies that Jinho had left as soon as he received his message saying he was waiting for him at the Hunter Bureau's headquarters. Jinwoo is even more confused, asking what he was talking about since that's where he just came from. Adam White comes up to him stating that Jinho's name wasn't in the Bureau's visitors log, making Jinchul confused since a hunter from the Scavenger Guild came to pick him up personally 2 hours ago. Adam White responded saying that even though the Scavenger Guild does have a close relationship with the Hunters Bureau, they do not have any authority to do their job in their stead, saying it would just be faster to contact them and ask them directly. Jinwoo questioned why he had a bad feeling about this. Laura, the secretary of the Scavenger Guild, is confused, asking Adam White if he was really telling her that someone from their guild escorted the vice leader of the Ajin Guild away, but realizes something crucial, thinking if he had made a move. Laura asked if Jinwoo was made aware of this situation. He responds, saying he didn't know yet, but his party asked about him while he was at the Hunter Bureau. Laura responds, saying they would find out as soon as possible, making Adam shout towards Jinwoo, telling him that the Scavenger Guild said they would look into it, but Jinwoo was nowhere in sight. Running on the rooftops of buildings, Jinwoo rushes at full speed, saying he was careless. He hadn't placed anyone to guard Jinho after using Shadow Exchange to save his father a while ago, thinking he wouldn't forgive himself if something like the incident from last time were to happen again. Come out, he commanded, making multiple shadows spawn with Jinwoo, ordering them to find him, scattering to every single corner of the city.